Hello, my YouTube family. I'm glad to be back with you. My apologies for the last live that I missed. I was out of town and could not stream at that time, but I am so glad to be with you on today. And I want to thank you. Your emails kept coming, your encouragement kept coming, your comments kept coming. Thank you so very much. I am here once again for all of the different topics that you are sending to my email. It has been phenomenal. Keep sending them. I'll keep teaching them. Thank you so much. You are my YouTube family. I want you to know that I love you so very much. Look out for the flyer for Dr. Carmen Bryan, who's going to be in Texas, and she will be doing a phenomenal seminar there. They will have a conference there, and you can sign up for the conference. Go to her YouTube channel, and you can see the information there. Make sure you sign up. You don't want to miss this. And it's also on Zooms, those of you who want Zoom. So make sure that you go to Zoom and sign up for it. It's going to be a phenomenal conference, and it's going to be a blessing. And I want to come to you. Thank you so much for the new subscribers. Yay! Thank you, new subscribers, for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so very much. Those of you who have not subscribed, please push the bell, and every time I upload new content, you will be the first one to get it. And you will also, those of you who want to partner with me, why don't you write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com, and I can tell you how you can make this happen. And you and I can do one-on-one conversations. If I'm ever in your area, because I travel extensively, then I can call you personally and we can have lunch sometime and do some things together. So those of you who want to partner with me, destinyhelper12s@gmail.com, and I can give you all of the facets of that. Also, I'll also do coaching. I am a certified life coach, and I do coaching. Thank you so much for those of you who have joined me in that avenue and the positive benefits and feedbacks that I'm getting from that. Come on, let's go to our topic. We want to talk about today. Many of you saying, I need to know more about the scapegoat child, but you said I need to know more when the scapegoat child grows up. The benefits, and sometimes the non-benefit factors of them growing up having been with a narcissist parent or two narcissist parents, which is even more devastating. The scapegoat child has a lot of positive traits, and they are picked usually very young, sometime at birth. And the narcissist makes a decision that they will not bond with a child based on the circumstances of the pregnancy of that mother, of the birth of that mother. That narcissist then conclude that I will have nothing to do with that child. And they hate that child from the time it's born. They don't display that, but as time go on, the characteristics begin to come out in the narcissistic parent toward the scapegoat child. The scapegoat child is usually very strong in personality, though they're broken because of tremendous rejection growing up, and everything is their fault. They get overloaded with the tasks, they get overloaded with the work, what nobody else want to do. The scape child must do. So the scape child grow up with the slave mentality, the servitude. But the scape child is usually, there are some instances where this is not the situation, but usually the scapegoat child is very, very, very frank, very forward with what they say. They don't bite their tongue. They come out and say what they want to say, and they don't care who is with, and they have nothing to lose. The narcissists begin to hate the scapegoat child because there's a strength in that scapegoat child that the narcissist recognize, and the narcissist envy the strength of that scapegoat child, because most scapegoat childs, they get broken down on the inside, but sometimes there's a fight in them that refuse to be conquered. And no matter what they do, no matter how they whoop them, no matter how they beat them, no matter how they ignore them, no matter how they abandon them, they cannot break this child. So the narcissists end up hating the child. And those that do break the child, there's still a characteristic about that child that the narcissist hate. And the scapegoat child want the love of the parent just like all the other children. The golden child that gets everything. The scapegoat child will usually try to attach to the golden child to get an avenue of favor from the narcissist parent or the narcissist parents. When you have a dominant narcissist and a lesser narcissist, you will never have in a relationship co-equal narcissist absolutely explosive. So that will never happen. One will always yield and one will always dominate in order for a viable, and it's not even viable relationship, it's a turmoil relationship because it's a servitude, and the narcissist that is dominant enslave the subservient narcissist, and the narcissist that is subservient goes down the rank to the children to please the dominant narcissist. And once the narcissist decide that a certain child is the scapegoat, the whole family, they have a network of narcissist behavior toward the scapegoat. The whole family go against that child. The whole family blames that child. They get less of everything. They're usually the last in everything. They get blamed for everything. They get ignored on purpose. They get set up for failure. And many times what they're set up for, the scapegoat child succeed in because they learn how to strategically plan in their mind. They learn how to plot against the narcissist because they are in survival mode. And when they're in survival mode, they have to be strategic in order to survive in a parent relationship where there is hostility toward them on a daily basis for no apparent reason. And soon the child comes to grip with no matter what they would be blamed for. They would be the absentee when all of the surprises come, when all of the benefits come, when all of the whatever tremendous package is given to everyone else as a thank you or a gratitude from either parent. That child know that they're going to be left out. So they build a defense system almost like a military fort. They build it in their mind. The scapegoat child is a very strong child, a very strategic child, a very regimented child. When they would be flighty everywhere, they may be flighty in relationships because they did not learn relationship with their parents, so they learn exclusion, so they find themselves hard to really attach to anyone as the scapegoat child. And the scapegoat child can be an empath. They can be very empathic. And usually the narcissist is drawn to the empath instead of pushed away from the empath. But when they use the empath as the scapegoat, it's because they know that they can get fuel at any time. And sometime when you have the narcissist, because not all narcissists cheat, not all narcissists go outside of the house. And sometime when narcissists go out, there are some narcissists that have been known for years to have 2 or 3 women or men, and they just have those 2, and they build families with them, they build regiment with them, and for years the narcissist has been with these 2 families, and they go through a recycling program with these 2 families, and the main supply knows about those families. They learn about those families, and they go into denial. They stay with that narcissist, knowing the narcissist has 2 other families that they're going to leave and get supply from. And usually the narcissist pick the family that is the golden family, and oftentimes it's not the family that is the main supply. It's the secondary or thirdary family that they give the golden child to, because he trains the main supply that you're never going to rule, you're never going to win, you're never going to dominate, you're never going to be over me. And so the main supply goes into always trying to please, always trying to compete with the other families that they know about, and they become a network. And these families have been known to last for 15, 20 years until somebody get out. I did a video, and it is when the supply has had enough. Please go visit that video. When the supply has had enough, there are certain characteristics, certain traits that supply begin to exemplify, and they numb. They grow numb. There's no sorrow. There's no regret. There's no feeling. All they see is out. All they see is a roadway. All they see is a doorway. And sometimes the parent that is not a narcissist but married to a narcissist get tired of the abuse of the scapegoat child, because the parent themselves can be an empath. And if the parent themselves, they never graduate to the realm of super empath, but they're very empathic. But they are so broken down from the torment and the abandonment within the home and the rejection of the home that is distributed to the scapegoat child. And the parent can't take it anymore. And the parent becomes the supply that has had enough. They grow numb, and they cause a doorway open for them through strategic planning, and they escape, and they save the life of that scapegoat child. Or you definitely going to need therapy. You're going to need a psychiatrist, psychologist. And then when you get therapies from all of the trauma, you may think about a life coach that will help them with their future, to help them get on with their life, to get on with planning, to start planning their future and going forth. But sometimes you have to get a therapist, a trauma therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, counselor that will help them and go into those intermediate places that has been torn down by the narcissist, of whatever grade, whatever degree of a level that narcissist was, that has inflicted this trauma on this scapegoat. And finally, the scapegoat get healing through these different therapies. And the scapegoat that stays in the family, that grows up in the family, that where the spouse may be too weak, or you had two narcissists, that child grows up. And when that child grows up, it grows up with a lot of inhibitions. It grows up with a lot of fears, and they have to have abandonment issues that they have to deal with, and people getting close to them. They usually have trust issues. And the scapegoat, when they have friends, they use their friend for operational factors, benefit factors, instead of love factors. They want love, but because they didn't get it, they don't know how to love, and they never yield their trust. So when they come into a relationship, it almost looks like a narcissistic relationship. But the scapegoat is not narcissistic, but they have to learn other habits. They have to learn other traits. They have to learn other mindsets, because in their home, they have to learn how to shield. They have to learn how to protect. They was always in fight mode. So when they get in relationship, they can bring that into the relationship where they're always in fight mode. They're always thinking someone is out to get them. They always think someone is out to hurt them. And when they love you with one eye watching you here and the other eye closed when they sleep, because they had never learned to trust. And when they get someone, and that's why when a scapegoat get with an empath, and the empath start taking responsibility for the scapegoat start putting more responsibility on the empath, because they're subservient to the training they had growing up. And so when the empath yield, all they know is how they have to yield in a narcissistic relationship, and they overload them. But the thing about the scapegoat, you can talk with them, you can converse with them, you can tell them how you feel, and they can start to understand. They can start to grow. They are able to change. They are able to have interim perspective where they look inside of themselves and change. But they need someone that's going to be long suffering. They need someone that's going to be patient. They need somebody going to work probably through the trauma areas. If they never got counseling, the wife end up being the trauma specialist, going back through visitation factors that is bringing out all of these triggers in the scapegoat. And when these triggers come out, and if you have a family, the scapegoat usually make a scapegoat. until they break the cycle. And they have to break that mindset, because that's what they're used to. Whatever you used to is the habit of continuum. That's why generational attitudes, generational consistencies begin to be birthed as people grow up in their adulthood, because in their mind, the only historical facts they have had is what they've experienced. The scapegoat is a very powerful tool. They usually are very excellent in business because they've learned to be strategic. They've learned to survive. They learned to endure. They've learned to fight. They've learned to shield. They've learned how to balance themselves, to keep themselves from going over the edge. And because of that fight mode that's in that scapegoat, the scapegoat refuse to be destroyed. They disruption in their lives. So they usually make good business partners. The only thing about the business partner is the fact that they've been under a narcissist. So they usually can bring some traits in until someone bring realization. And remember, the scapegoat can go inside and have an introspective. And so they can look inside of themselves and say, nope, that's not right. Let me change. And they are able to change. Not all narcissists produce narcissists. And some narcissists actually produce powerful empaths that are able to endure, and they're able to grow from even sometimes from external operation and not from the internal home growing. And when you are the scapegoat, the whole network, the whole family has been trained to be against you, because if they're not against you, they are then rejected and abandoned. So in order to not be abandoned by the narcissist in the family, they take, and whatever the view of the narcissist has, of the scapegoat, the family usually join with them. So the scapegoat is not a weak individual. The scapegoat can be a powerful individual, but the scapegoat go through so much trauma, tremendous trauma. And as they grow up, they may need therapy. There ain't no may. They will need therapy, because they will grow up with all of these triggers, and they won't understand where all of these triggers are coming from. And these triggers can go off at any time. And they can have successful marriages, successful relationship, and grow successful children. But usually the scapegoat has to go in seat. And sometimes that's hard, because the scapegoat always seek to win the approval of the person who reject them. And so they keep going back. And that's when they traumatize the grandchildren, because they bring the grandchildren, and because they are the children of the scapegoat, it's an automatic rejection. It's hardly ever that a scapegoat have a child to be a golden child. And the only time that happens is when the narcissist is strategic to get a golden child, raise up the child to turn them against their own parent. And we would discuss that on another video. So I hope that I've given information that will really bless you and that will really encourage you. If you grew up in a narcissistic home and you were the scapegoat, I want you to know that you weren't the weakest one. You were actually the strongest one, because you had to endure what other folk did not have to endure. You have to empower yourself in places they know nothing about. And the durability that you have in character and strength and in might is substantial, and you are able to go out and have a very, very successful lifestyle. But if you need therapy, don't hesitate to find a therapist. Then you're going to need a therapy that is a specialist in trauma. Get a trauma therapist, and you may need two different therapists, or it can be the same therapist. There are some narcissist therapists that actually specialize in trauma, and when you or there may be narcissist therapists that may just take the narcissistic trait, and when it goes to another level, get into the trauma basis, they refer you over. But if you get one that is a narcissist specialist, they will know what to do with the release, the triggers, and when you go into those places that unlock doors that may be hard for you to handle, we can walk you through every place successfully. And I'm telling you, scapegoats folks, you can have a tremendous life. And I know you were the black sheep, but really, you were the lion of the family. And I want to tell you that you have a life worth living. Welcome to your new perspective, because they really help make you the giant you are and the lion you are. I'm Helen Sadler, and I am your Destiny Helper. And remember, you can write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. I would love to get all of your letters and all of the comments. And remember, I do sessions, so if you want life coaching, you can come to me. If you want something a little bit deeper, I will refer you to my daughter. Her name is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Please look her up. She's awesome, very phenomenal. And don't forget, she has a conference coming up. So find that flyer and get there. Do it Zoom or get a plane ticket, and don't miss this opportunity. So give me an email shout out about this program, how you feel about it, how you like it, and keep bringing me the topics, and I will keep teaching them. I love you to life. And remember, on Thursday, which is tomorrow night, I will be on live, and I look forward to seeing you there. God bless you.